What's my purpose? Wow, that's a big question. And I don't think I can answer it very easily, not with the little amount of experience I have. But if I were to take a guess, I would say that my purpose is to make the world a more beautiful place. Ever since I was little, I've always loved art and movies and comic books and other forms of media because they told a story. They took an idea and they represented it, and I always thought that was really cool. So, yeah, I think my purpose that I've had since a young age is that I wanted to contribute to that, make the world more beautiful, add more art to it. And it's really cool because now I'm sitting here as an art director, lead art director for a major gaming magazine. And not only is it with something I love, video games, but I get to do something that I've always felt the desire to do, and that is I get to contribute to, what's going to be studied centuries from now when people are trying to figure out what were the ancient Americans of the 21st century like. That's a cool thought to me, and I'm really excited about that every day. Well, when I was in school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do at first. I started at Valencia getting my general studies. I took a variety of different classes to try and figure out what I wanted. At one point, I thought I was going to be a scientist or a historian or a theologian. And so I took a few different classes in those different veins. And what I found out is I didn't really love any of those things. I just kind of had a slight interest in this lore of the subject, but not necessarily in the subject itself. And so once I started looking into art classes with New Student Experience, which I took at the end of my AA career, I was like, hey, this is a really cool idea. Why don't I be an artist? It was intimidating at first because artists don't make a lot of money. Generally speaking, it's a very hit or miss career path. But I figured, you know what, if it's something I love, I just gotta give it my all, and I think I'll succeed. So, that being said, I finished up my general studies AA and transferred to UCF, and I got my bachelor's degree in visual arts and emerging media. And college is expensive. Even now, 10 years later, from when I was in college, it's still very expensive. When I was there, it cost me about $18,000 for my general studies AA and for my bachelor's degree combined. Now, stuff like the Pell Grant and Bright Futures and other stuff like that, student loans, unfortunately, I had to take. Those things helped with that. They offset the cost a good bit. And so I was able to kind of handle it. At the time, the loans were stressing me out, but again, I was like, I love this. I want to make money doing this, so I want to pursue it. And sure enough, I ended up making enough money to cover my loans. Now, most degree paths, you would need to do stuff like go to touring clubs and meet with your professors on a regular basis to discuss class content, and that's all great. You should do those things. But for artists, it's a little different. For us, you more have to spend time doing peer reviews of your artwork as well as other people's art. Spend time immersing yourself in various forms of media and literature, and look for inspiration, things to draw, things to try, to test yourself. You got to spend more time on your art than anything else, really, and that's the way to succeed. Now, during my final phases of my bachelor's degree, I pretty much was only taking art classes. I was part of an art club, and I got accepted for an apprenticeship with the Art Directors Guild, which, if you don't know, they're an organization that takes young minds, young students in the artistic fields, and they train them. They pair you up with what they call a grandmaster, and that's what you do. You do art with them. You help them with their projects. They show you ways to improve and teach you new skills, and they tell you ways to challenge yourself so that you can become even better than you already are. And I think being a part of that was super rewarding because I made some great connections. After that, I started working for the Orlando Sentinel because they loved what they saw. They thought I was, young. Maybe I could revive the news industry. Didn't end up working because the company ended up tanking about 5 years ago. Yikes. But for the time that I was working for them, they loved what I did, and I got to add some of the stuff that was in their newspapers to my portfolio, which was super helpful later on. Nowadays, we pretty much only use digital magazines. But even still, there's a need for people to figure out the web design layouts and how a story on the web is going to look. And so, that's when I started doing. I practiced on my own on a blog to try and show off my skills digitally. And eventually I ended up getting an interview for a job with Game Informer. It's this video game magazine. They used to work with GameStop before that company closed down, but now they just basically cover everything in modern day video game culture, and it's really cool to look at the things that they talk about there, the way that the culture is kind of wrapped into that. But that's a story for another time. Basically, I started working for them, and that's where I'm working to this day. Been working here for about 4 years now, and I'm the captain of my own art director's team. I get about 1 or 2 articles every month that me and my team get to work on setting up. We have to go for interviews. We have to go set up drafts for these things, and once or twice a month we've got credit for helping to add to the pages of this magazine. It's been going on for like decades now. It's really cool. I would say that the most important skills to have would be leadership, communication skills, perspective, certainly important. But you also have to be willing to be active and be on the same level as people in your team. I think the biggest mistake any boss in any field can make is separating themselves too much from their employees. And really, it's a team effort. The captain is just that, the team captain. They're still a player in the game. And so you really got to connect with your people.